Alright everybody, welcome back to Mamaw's Kitchen, where she's going to cook our family favorite recipes. Take it away, Mamaw.
Since it's fall, Papa's got chili going. We're going to have some cinnamon rolls to go with that chili. So this dough is the country white bread dough. We've already mixed it. It's risen once. We're going to now roll it out, and then we'll put all the toppings on it to create the cinnamon rolls. So the first thing we're going to do is flour our countertop. The little house has very little space, so we're just going to work with the space that we have. Gonna roll this out. It's so pretty. Such a nice soft dough. All right. Now when we use the rolling pin, we have to put a little bit of flour on it so that it doesn't stick to the dough, and then we'll add a little bit more flour to this dough too. Let's move that bowl out of the way. Thank you, Uncle Clinton. All right. And I've just put a little bit of flour on the top so my rolling pin doesn't stick to it. And we're just going to roll this out and make it all, about a ½ inch thick, I think, probably. We'll see as we play with it a little bit more, but I'm going to try to shape it as I go. And we'll make it kind of a rectangle shape. All right, I'm going to just do a little bit with my fingers, nice and stretchy. It's really good. All right. That looks pretty good to me. It's a little bit thick, but we're just out of space, truth be known. The little house just doesn't have quite as much space as the other kitchen. All right, we've got a softened stick of butter. I'm going to add, I didn't used to do this, but Papa really likes the molasses flavor. And so I had figured out that if I add a little bit of molasses to the butter, then when I spread it out, then the molasses flavor goes all the way throughout it. So about a tablespoon of molasses in with the whole stick of softened butter. See, it's not melted all the way. It's going to mix in really nice, and that's what we want. So, all right, can you see it all mixed up in there? So now we're just going to spread this out. I've already touched my fingers a little bit to the dough, played with it a little bit. We're just going to spread this all over. So this is molasses and softened butter. And this is going to coat this whole top of this dough. And then we're going to sprinkle the brown sugar over the top of that. Okay, let's get it all in here. I like using these little basters for this because it paints it nice and smooth. So do whatever you like. You can use a knife or a spoon. It doesn't really matter, just to get it all kind of nice and even. Now I'm going to really try to get all the way to the edge. If you don't, you get a little bit of cinnamon roll, some of those smaller ones that doesn't have all of the butter on it. You miss a little bit of that flavor. So we're going to take it all the way to that edge. Okay, all right, there is that. All right, brown sugar next. We're going to sprinkle brown sugar pretty generous. We're going to just go all the way over the whole thing. Typically for a batch, I'll do about probably 2 cups of brown sugar. All right. Those lumps, kind of smooth it out a little bit all the way to the edge. We're going to go with cinnamon. Now cinnamon can be a bit bitter if you get too generous with it. So I just sprinkle a little bit all the way across the top of it, but I try not to get so much that it's going to be bitter. Okay, now we're going to roll them. All I'm doing is just tucking this first edge, and the whole thing just rolls right up. All right. Now we're going to spray our pans with, actually, let me clear my countertop. Then we'll, all right, we're going to spray our pans with the butter spray. And remember, don't spray it over the floor because that'll end up with your floor getting all slick. Okay, I've got the bench scraper that Uncle Clinton got for me. We're going to about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, about 2 inches thick. We're going to just pack these right in here. Not too tight. We want them to be able to expand a little bit. Looks like that little pan's going to hold about 3. The oven at the little house is kind of tiny, so we're just going to work with what we've got. There you go. Okay, we'll cover that and let it rise again in a little bit. Sometimes what happens when you've got this bigger dough, it will flatten out. And so what I do is I'll just start my roll again and make the pretty roll to go into the pan. So you're not, if it gets to where it's a little bit wonky or lopsided, it doesn't matter. You just work with it. Remember, this dough will just play with you, so just have fun. All right, we're going to cover these and we're going to let them rise. Since it is a little cooler here right now because of fall, I am going to actually even stick them inside the oven that's been tempered just a little bit. You can even do just a pan of boiling water in it, but that'll heat the oven up just enough that it'll get a little bit of a steam bath and it'll warm it up a little bit. And that way the house is a little cooler, it won't take so long to rise. It has raised beautifully. We've got 3 little tiny pans to go in the oven. We're going to bake these at 350 and we're going to do it for 25 to 30 minutes. We want a golden brown color on top. Remember, they're going to raise just slightly more when they go into that warm oven. So these will raise up. We'll pull them out, butter the top. We're going to enjoy it pretty quick. This house smells so good right now. Cinnamon rolls are out. They cooked for 25 minutes. I want to show you when they come out of the oven, you should be able to touch them. You should have a firmness to them so that you can feel that they're cooked all the way through. Then we're going to brush the top with some butter. Just like we did the bread. This is the same bread recipe that we did, the country white bread. And now we're going to just brush the top, make them nice and buttery and soft. I'll do this other little pan too. Now, we made some humongous cinnamon rolls, y'all. These are huge and pretty, and they're gonna taste amazing. So I also made the frosting that I made when we made the white velvet cutouts. So I made a jar of it. Uncle Clinton likes frosting on his cinnamon rolls, so we're going to pull this out, separate it just a little bit. Go. I'm gonna get all that gooey right there. Can you see? So the butter and the cinnamon, all of that is just nice and gooey and goodness all the way around. And then I'm gonna do, let's just use this. Uncle Clinton likes that frosting on there, so we're just gonna spread that all over. It's nice and warm. Now, remember when we frosted the white velvet cutout cookies, we waited for them to cool. This is nice and warm. This is going to do exactly what Uncle Clinton wants. It's going to melt down into all this little divides in that cinnamon roll. I'm going to dig into the goodness.